welcome to today's live shopping episode. Welcome one and all. My name is Louisa. For those of you who are new, who've never seen me before, I have the great pleasure of being sort of the regular host of this live shopping segment. For those of you who do know me, welcome back to you and welcome back to me. I was gone for 2 weeks. I had, unfortunately, a cold last week, so Matt had to step in at the last minute, and he did so with great success. Well done, Matt. Thank you so much for stepping in. And I hope you had a lovely time with him nonetheless. I am... I'm so happy to be back. And like I said in my intro, for those of you who showed up quite early to the stream, you will have seen, we do have a slightly more technically challenged stream today. So that's just for you to know that we are in the midst of a migration of our entire website backend. So as you can probably already see and feel on the website, a lot of things are changing, a lot of things are evolving. And that means that we are currently kind of trying to figure everything out as it comes. Literally something changes every week. And that's why we're a little bit technically challenged. So long story short, we currently, someone asked if we could turn the music down a little bit more.
Oh, it is down.
Okay. Thank you. I just saw it now. So what that means is essentially we normally have one link that we can send you that leads to a landing page that has all of the offers listed and also all of the patterns that we show. Unfortunately, we are currently unable to build that page, meaning we don't have one for this week. If you type our discount code, which is Happy40, which gives you 40% off our selection, into the chat here, it should still give you a message. And then that message has a list of all the yarns. So it is a little bit more manual, let's say. It's a little bit less savvy and less techy than normal. Basically, you will then have to just add the yarns yourself to the cart and apply the code. Each yarn comes with a little trigger phrase. The phrases are shown here above me, and I will also say them when I present the yarn to you. You can also type those trigger phrases. That should lead to a direct link to the yarn being sent to your inbox here on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're watching us on YouTube, sadly, those tricks won't work for you, and sadly, we don't have a link for you today. But of course, all of you can still shop these yarns and use our discount. Our live shopping discount is 40% off. That applies to the base price of the yarn. So it does not apply to our bulk discount, which applies when you add multiple of the same color, for instance, or not of the same color, of the same yarn into your basket. The Happy40 40% off applies to the base price. It essentially replaces whichever other discount you're using. It also does not combine with any other discount. So if you're holding on to yesterday's bingo code, for instance, you can't combine it with Happy40. Happy40 stands on its own and applies to the basically base price. Our new checkout actually is very, very smart, as you'll see if you kind of play around with it. I don't know why anyone would do that. I just do that because, one, I have to test if the codes work, and two, I just like knowing how things work. Essentially, our checkout constantly tries to give you the best deal possible. So if you apply a discount code and that discount code would be to your detriment, it won't apply it. It'll instead use the bulk discount, for instance. If the better deal is using a discount code, then it'll apply the discount code in any way it applies. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit challenging right now. It's a little bit different. We're hoping that in a few weeks' time, especially when everyone's back from their summer vacation and we've all had time to get some training on some of the new tools, it'll actually be a much smoother, much funner experience. For now, please bear with us. We're in the midst of trying to fix everything. So yeah. As I said, the codes above here should, if you type them into the chat, trigger a link sent to your inbox to that specific yarn. Then you can add it to your cart, and then just double check that at checkout you are applying our discount code, which is Happy40. If you type Happy40 in the chat, you will also get a message, and that just literally has a written out list. Like, I just wrote a list of the products, and then you at least have like kind of a little overview. Also, anyone that comments on this stream should just automatically get a follow-up message in a few hours that also has links to the products. So you are not missing out, I hope. And like I said, we'll fix it. We'll come back better and stronger at some point in the nearish future. And Melissa's asking, so would typing in the Hobbii.com live shopping the old link still work? No, it does not. It no longer works. Simply put, the new website backend has changed all the links, and so that page literally does not exist anymore. So it sadly does not work anymore. So the only way to use today's discount is essentially going to the individual products page, putting that into your cart, and applying the code. You only have to apply the code once, and then it applies to our entire selection, which is 12 beautiful yarns. Claire is asking what yarn I would recommend for someone who is learning to crochet. So out of the yarns we have today, the one I think I personally would have liked to get started with is something like Friends Wool, simply because it is a slightly thicker yarn. So you have like a kind of medium thickness. I personally quite like that. I personally like something that's a little bit thicker, but it still has a little bit of kind of give and elasticity. So if you're someone like me who crochets very tightly, it won't kind of get super stuck and super hard to work with on the next few rows or rounds. But I will tell you a little bit more about this yarn later, and this is just one idea. I learned to crochet with Bungee Mini, which is a completely random yarn to start on, but it helped me a lot, so it's really different. I see a lot of people are getting the error message that we can't message them at the moment. That seems to be, we've had this issue for the last few weeks. I mean, Matt was already almost on his way to fight Mark Zuckerberg about it. We've been having that problem a little bit lately. I hope that at some point throughout the stream it usually evens out, and then we're usually fine. And Shiloh's asking if we are able to show a list of the yarns for today. We don't have a list of the yarns prepped, sadly. But like I said, once the message goes through, if you type Happy40 in the chat, you should get a list of the yarns sent to you. You also see the titles of each of the yarns up here. So they're being shown above me in a carousel. And which is going to pew, 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 pew.
I'm seeing quite a few people who are saying that the Facebook stream is freezing for them.
No.
If this is happening, you could go on YouTube or Instagram as well.
Yeah, we are live on YouTube and Instagram as well. So if Facebook is really not wanting to broadcast today, you can hop on over there. You can stay on the Facebook chat and just kind of, what's the word I was thinking of? Just mute it, mute the stream, and just have the chat open if you want to participate on some of our games and stuff later that we also have coming up. With that said, I think there's still stuff to talk about, Matt. We do have, as usual, 4 giveaways today. We will have one random winner drawn from everyone who signed up to this Facebook event ahead of time. Thank you to all of you who did. We also are selecting 2 winners from our chat. One, I think, we'll do a random, and for one, Matt, the goat, has built a little quiz guessing question. Because I was like, oh, could we do something fun? Should we do something, something funny there? So yeah, we have a little, like a tiny little guessing quiz for you. And then finally, we will select one random winner from everyone who gives this video a like. So be sure to give us a like on Facebook for a chance to win. Each of the prizes is a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency, so 25 monies up for grabs. Monique is saying that Facebook is working fine, so it might just be a localized thing depending on where you are, but either way, if you are experiencing freezing and it's not great, try if YouTube works for you. You can keep the Facebook chat open just so you can hang out with us there as well. If you have multiple devices, I suppose. If you only have one device, then I don't know. Then I guess you choose whichever one is the best one for you. So it seems like we're currently not able to send out links. But, oh, Paula! Paula has already copied my message. So there is a list now in the chat that Matt is going to just comment and pin. With that said, let's get cracking. We've got 12 yarns to talk about. We've got 40% off. The code is valid for 24 hours, so until tomorrow at this time. And we've got 4 giveaways coming up throughout the show. And thank you for the people who liked my shirt. I also really like it. It is the shirt that I wore the very, very first time I ever hosted a bingo. And so I have kind of decreed my lucky shirt because of that. We have 12 yarns for you today. The first ones are right here on the table. We've got for you Tea Time, we've got Sultan Deluxe, and we've got Unicorn Solid. I'm going to start telling you a little bit about Tea Time. Tea Time is a kind of perfect yarn for those who love a sort of stripy, soft color change, and for those who love a very, very soft yarn, but who still wanted to have a little bit of a sort of rustic look, a little bit of that kind of handmade randomness to it, and something that goes for quite a long way. So Tea Time is made from 100% acrylic. It is a very, very soft material. It's, as you will see here, kind of loosely spun. So you get a slight variation in thickness across the skein. It is a worsted weight yarn, which goes for a... Did we always have it in feet?
It has been changed.
We used to have it, the information in yards,
Yep.
which makes way more sense. It's 634 yards.
Yeah.
I just noticed that in my notes that I have here on it, it now says the measurement in feet, which is just odd to me. So it's 630 yards, everyone. That's 580 meters if you're...
In bingo yesterday, we were also like I looked at it and I was like, wait, what? That
just
is
feels
not
wrong.
yards.
That just feels wrong to say. It's 1,902 feet.
I have no concept of how far that is.
Like, I always imagine that a foot is roughly the length of my foot, which I guess like is it like how many inches is a foot? Like an inch, like,
I don't know.
Is it 12? Is 1 foot 12 inches, and then 12 inches are like 2.5 centimeters? I don't know. This is already, we're already off to a great start of like staying completely like. Jillian is saying, yes, I'm not liking the new measurements. Yeah, it's interesting. It's because of the website change. There's definitely something there. I'll pass it along. Maybe that's something they can actually fix. Because I'm like, who's gonna measure their yarn in feet? Like, that just feels, it's the same as like if you gave me this in centimeters, I'd be like, I mean, at least the conversion is a little bit easier to do in your head, but still, I'd be like,
I would guess that.
What do you mean? What do you mean this is 5,800 centimeters? I'd be like,
I would guess that most
nothing.
Americans would even like meters or feet in terms of yarn.
Well, I think yards, right? Like meters or
yeah,
yards.
But they would probably like meters over feet.
I would imagine, because at least then the number is like not ridiculous. 12 inches in a foot, says Tamara. Look what I know.
You know what, Louisa?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Oh yeah.
Let's get it in here.
Okay, great. I love it. So Matt has a question he wants to ask you, which is basically he's going to put a poll in, and you can let us know what your favorite measurement is. Not just for yarn, right? Just in general?
For yarn.
For yarn. Okay, he wants to know specifically what is it for yarn, not what is it in general. I would have loved to just know what is your favorite measurement in general. Are you partial to meters? Are you partial to grams? Are you partial to liquid ounces? Nautical miles? No, but Matt's just going to put in, like, what is your favorite measurement? And please answer, because then what we will do is we will actually screenshot it and send it to our shop team and tell them, listen, 99% of people said this. Unless, of course, now someone's going to be like a contrarian and be like, yeah, I love feet. In fact, give it to me in inches. All right. So what I was going to say is you get 634 inches. Great, 634 yards of yarn on one of these. It is machine washable at a low to medium temperature, so it's easy to take care of, and you get a really lovely soft color change. The recommended hook or needle size is a 4.5mm to 5.5mm, so a nice, again, medium size, somewhere that I feel very comfortable working with. And you can see here just how gorgeous these colors are. Like I said, due to the way it is spun rather loosely, you get a little... I keep holding it in the wrong place for the camera. Why is the camera... Like, can I turn it a little bit? There. I always think the camera's pointing here, but it's pointing here. As you can see here, you get a little bit of that variation in thickness, which gives it There we go, which gives it a slightly more sort of rustic handmade look. Matt, can we pull up the colors for this yarn so we can show them all the beautiful colors that are available right now? A few are sold out, but we do still have a very nice selection right there that Matt is showing you.
Looks a little bit crooked. There you go.
Yes. Very nice. We do also have some pictures of swatches, so that way we can maybe show you. Matt is trying to figure out, again, new website hosts, so now Matt needs to figure out how to crop his
They've
his
changed a lot.
images. Yeah, a lot of things have changed. When I was
go.
trying to set things up today, it was very much like a.
Now we can see it.
But yeah, now here you can see all the colors that we have available right now. All of them are named for teas, so much like tea time is named for tea. All the yarn colors are named for tea as well, and we do actually have some pictures of swatches up on the website to give you a better idea of what the color looks like when worked up. So as we go through, maybe you can show us, what do I have here? I have color 4 here. So for instance, if you pull up, no I don't, this is color 2. I for sure have color 2 here. So we can do the fun game again.
Yeah.
So this is the swatch, and this is the skein, and this is the swatch, and this is the skein. So that gives you a little bit of a better idea of what the color changes will look like. You get essentially these fairly fast changing stripes. You get a very sort of gentle changeover between the colors. They're modeled in with each other. So next one I think is color 7. We can do the same thing again. We have a swatch, and we have a skein, and we have a swatch, and we have a skein.
Should we take a look at the results?
And as you can see here, like I said, there. As you can see here, like I said, the colors sort of bleed into each other very beautifully. So you get these very soft little changes. That's tea time, and what can you make with it, Matthias? I think we should maybe look at some projects that those of you out there have made with this beautiful yarn. So let's take a look at the user gallery. Tea time is a very versatile yarn. You could use it for any type of clothing. You could use it for things like blankets. You could use it for beautiful accessories. You could work this up. I think it'll look really cool if you do an amigurumi with it for something that is supposed to be stripy. I think that would look really cool too. For instance, we have this gorgeous blanket right here that looks super lovely, and with the granny squares, it's nice because you get a kind of effortless color change without having to work up like many different colors. You just have the one. We've got this beautiful top or vest that looks absolutely beautiful, and again really cool with how the color change comes through with the different types of stitches. And we've got this lovely sweater here as well. So these are just some examples of what you can make with tea time, and tea time is 40% off with our code HAPPY40. So HAPPY40 applies on top of the base price, which is $15, and that price gets reduced down by 40%. If you select a larger quantity, the bulk discount would normally apply. However, the bulk discount at maximum reaches 30%, so it would then be replaced by the live shopping discount if you apply the code HAPPY40 at checkout. Sadly, you do have to do that manually. Like I said, we're in the middle of a transition. We are working on having it all set up so that you just go to a landing page, you click whichever yarns you want, and it just does everything for you. I got halfway to setting some of that up today, and then the second half of it sadly failed me. So not this week. We're hoping for the future.
We have answers.
We do have answers, and it is very, very clear. If we add it together, 88% of you said that you either prefer meters or yards. And I do think that the 10 people who answered centimeters and the 17 people who answered feet were doing it as a joke. I kind of assume that that might be the case. Or might not craft. Or might just be really into small measurements. But I kind of imagine that either meters to grams or yards to ounces is going to be way easier to compute than centimeters or feet. So I will pass that feedback along for you. I will make sure that your voices are heard. Rima saying it was very helpful when the yarn pages used to have links to the patterns that use it. Yes, that was indeed very helpful. I I'm not the only one. Many of us working here have reached out and also let our shop team know that please fix that, because it makes it a lot harder to help out customers. It makes it a lot harder for us to find what we're looking for. So I am sure that is on their to-do. I would be very shocked if they say, no, that feature's just gone forever. So we've got tea time, yarn number 1 for today. We also have our beautiful Sultan Deluxe, which tea time is made from 100% acrylic. It is easy to take care of. And then Sultan Deluxe is made from 100% cotton. It is also very easy to take care of. It can also be washed at low to medium temperature. And it is also a cake with quite a bit of yardage. So it is 1 kilometer of yarn. That is easy.
A new measurement as well. We have never had like 1 kilometer.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, it's giving it as 1 kilometer! I just always say that as a joke because I think it sounds really impressive. It genuinely gives it a 1 kilometer on the website now.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 meters, everyone. It's just... Oh, I had not seen that yet.
What
that
the hell
is
is a
so
kilometer?
awkward. What the... What?
Wow.
What am I going to do with a kilometer? It's 1,000 meters. That is, of course, 1,093 yards. And Sultan Deluxe is made from a very lovely thin cotton yarn, very soft. It is a fingering weight yarn. Recommended hooker needle size is a 3mm to 4mm, and it is machine washable at low to medium temperature, so easy to take care of. What do you do with a kilometer of yarn? Well, the easiest, well not the easiest, but the most obvious choice would be to make a lovely shawl. We do have patterns for shawls on the website, and we used to have them linked straight to the yarn. We don't really have that at the moment. I am sure it's going to come back. I hope it will, but I will nonetheless show you some pictures and some inspiration from our website of shawls that we have. This first one is called the Timeless Shawl. You should actually be able to find it if you type Sultan Deluxe into the search bar on the website. I'm pretty sure it will pop up. If it doesn't, it is called Timeless, much like the design of it. It is the Timeless Shawl, which is a lovely shawl that you only need 1 of these to make. It is for advanced beginners and is a great project, just a great one cake project that you can do. Kristen is saying, see that it says 328 feet, but that is totally an incorrect amount based on kilometers. That is true. Check, can you show me what it says, Matt? Because I can't see what it says. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually foul.
That is way off.
That's 100 meters.
That's a 1/10 of it.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, we'll pass that feedback along. What is happening? Someone said, wait, have we lost Stephen? Yes, Stephen has sadly left Hobbii. If it's been a while since you've watched, I'm very sorry that this is how you find out. He does sometimes rock up in the chat, so he might be hanging around here. Yeah.
And our Sultan Deluxe is now 1/10 of the size they used to be.
Yeah, and Sultan Deluxe has now shrunk to just 328 feet. I am very sorry about that. I will make sure to pass that along. Jax is saying whoever decided to use those new measurements clearly does not knit or crochet. I think it might be a preset, actually. I don't know. I will inquire because, yeah, like, I mean, I say a kilometer as a joke because I think it sounds funny to say, like, yeah, this is a kilometer of yarn, but it is 1,000 meters. So it's a little over 1,000 yards.
Growing pains.
Yes. It's really funny because, of course, this sort of website changeover has been happening for a while now, and we have already learned cool new skills, and I had actually, if you can't tell, I drank a lot of caffeinated drinks today because I was fully locked in trying to learn as much of the new systems as I could to make sure that the stream would go as smoothly as it can. And it is a really cool experience because I love learning new stuff. So I was just like, tell me more, show me all your secrets. Yeah, there are also some growing pains associated with it, and so we're doing our best. You can, for Sultan Deluxe, type SD1 in the chat. So SD1 in the chat if you want a direct link to Sultan Deluxe, not Delight, Deluxe. And then Matt is showing you all the colors we have available. I have 2 more here that I'm going to show you on the close-up cam as well to give you a nice a little idea of the color shift. And actually I think the solid colored one, or the kind of analogous colored ones, will be a little bit easier to show you on. So as you see here, you start on a solid, and then one by one, so it's made of 4 cotton plies, and then one by one each ply changes color. So you go from 4 in this darker teal color to 3 to 1 with the lighter blue, then 2 to 2, then 1 to 3. And then it starts switching to the next lighter color. So then you have a 3 to 1 again, then you have a 2 to 2, then you have a 1 to 3, and so on, until you end up in the center where the easy start tab is, and you have a solid colored thread again. So the color change is very gradual. It is very, very, very soft, and it goes always from a fixed point to a fixed point. So on tea time, you get kind of the randomness, you get the chaos, the, like, is that what entropy is? Like the return to chaos?
Isn't entropy...
Or is the opposite? Is it the return to order?
I think it's the return to order.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. That makes sense. But whatever it is, it's... So that's what this is then. Matt is now Googling entropy.
Lack of order.
It is a lack of order. So
It's
that
the
is what
opposite.
tea time. So tea time is the, like, is sort of the entropy, and this is the ordered, is for the fans of the orderly. Yeah, like I said, shawl is kind of the obvious. The timeless shawl I showed you is one beautiful example of that, but don't let that stop you. Our colleague Khan has a beautiful dress that is made from this yarn, which looks super cool. You can turn this into t-shirts, you can turn this into tops, you can turn this into literally anything you want. You can turn this into a blanket. You can, as Matt is showing you, there's a dress. Show the dress. A beautiful dress, for instance. Just one example of what this yarn can be used for. And like with tea time, if you want a lot of color and you don't want a ton of ends to weave in at the end of your project, then Salt and Deluxe might be the one for you. Rivki is saying, I just got Salt and Deluxe in my surprise bag and I am very excited to try it. I hope you enjoy. If you are looking for some more inspiration, sadly, our website is a little bit broken right now, but I can always recommend check out what others have made from the yarn. You can check that in our user gallery. Entropy is always increasing, so chaos is always increasing.
I thought that that entropy, because you always talk about how the universe is going to entropy, but I thought it would be order, because at some point it's all gonna be away from each other, so there would be no chaos.
Oh,
It
but
would- like the heat
it
death,
is
you know?
continuous. But it is a continuous like movement, right? So
Yeah.
the opposite would be everything staying in its place. Like that would be order.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I
I don't know why
why.
I brought it up either. I also don't know
It's interesting.
where that word came into my mind,
Yeah,
but it's fun nonetheless. So this was
maybe
Salt
get
and
toilet
Deluxe.
paper?
If you want a direct link to it, type SD1 in the chat. And Happy 40 applies for 40% off the base price of this yarn for the next 22-ish hours.
Do you have the toilet paper?
Do I have the toilet paper?
The word a day toilet paper,
No, I do not.
because that could be where it's
No. There is such a thing?
Yeah. I believe
Christmas present.
I believe Chandler gives it to Joey at some point in an episode.
I haven't watched all of Friends.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cynthia saying, welcome to existentialism based on yarn. That would be fun for a new show. That would be a fun little segment.
Yeah.
I have so many cool ideas on we should do the physics of yarn or something at one point. Your fans would like a word with the janky website creator. Can you screen grab that for me, Matt?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. They're doing a fantastic job. They've been so helpful. Our entire tech department, shout out. It's growing pains. It'll all be fine. I swear. I promise. Why don't I get notified anymore, says Ruth. That is a different question. Are you subscribed to the live shopping reminder? If you are, you should be getting notified, unless Facebook has somehow decided to not do that. But you should be getting notified every day, every week, every Monday evening, depending on what time I sent the reminder, usually somewhere between right after bingo to 3 hours after bingo. I always like to surprise myself to see what time do I feel like sending this today. I always try to send it I want to send it so it's during the day for most people, but not too late for those of you who are on the European clock. So I'm going to move on to our next yarn because we've now talked existentialism, we've talked like thermodynamics, we've tried to go through everything, we've talked favorite measurements. We actually do have another poll question, I think. This one is kind of also a generalized, just curious to know. So we're going to just pop up another poll that you can reply to if you want to, which is just which material do you like working with the most? I think Matt put fabric, but which material do you like working with the most? Is it wool, cotton, acrylic, polyester? Of course, I know there's going to be someone who says alpaca. There is going to be people who like working with blended materials, but just as a sort of general rule of thumb feeling is your, like what your favorite yarns are tend to be like. And
sorry to YouTube and Instagram, we can't send this poll to you guys, but you can write it in the chat and we'll read it.
Yeah. Tiffany, someone is asking, trying to figure out what the mystery 12th yarn is. We'll get to that. We have a yarn that we don't have in the studio, so I forgot to put it in, but I will tell you what it is.
It's just a variation of a different yarn.
It is just a variation of a different yarn. Don't get too excited. I'm going to tell you a little bit of about Unicorn Solid now before we get to our first giveaway. Unicorn Solid is the third yarn in our selection today, which is 40% off. Aileen is asking, does the Happy 40 code work on the Norwegian website? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I am very, very, very sorry. Again, due to the entire changeover process, Norway kind of got lost in the fray. And we didn't realize that the code wasn't automatically applicable. So I am very sorry. But yes, Happy 40 is available on hobbii.no. Yes. So Yvonne is saying merino, which is a great little keyword here because this is exactly what Unicorn Solid is all about. So Unicorn Solid is a sock weight or fingering or sock weight yarn blend made of 75% merino wool and 25% polyamide. So you have that classic 75 to 20 sock blend that helps the yarn retain its shape very well. It makes it very durable, makes it easy to take care of, and keeps it nice and fresh for long, even if you turn it into socks and walk around on it all the time. You get 400 meters on one of these hanks, and that is, of course, 1,312 feet, which, again, no idea if that's correct, but it is also 437 yards. So 437 yards of beautiful, soft sock yarn in gorgeous, deep colors. So all the colors, you get a lot of these like beautiful jewel tones. This one is a very old skein, and a lot of just a lovely kind of, it is probably one of my favorite color palettes that we have. A very nice color palette for those of you who love those kind of deeper shades, those kind of, yeah, jewel tones, I think is the best description for it. You can machine wash this. We recommend that you use the wool program on your machine and use low to medium temperature, and of course use a wool detergent to make sure this yarn keeps for a very, very long time. It is, like I said, a sock weight yarn. It is a sock blend yarn, and you, well, we recommend using 3 to 4 millimeter hooks or needles when you work with it. It very, very, very nicely pairs, is that the right word? Yeah, it pairs with a lot of other yarns for a really nice, just combination. So I have used this a lot with different mohair yarns, and that has been a big success every single time, but it is also beautiful by itself. It is also a sock yarn, but do not limit yourself to socks. Literally anything from sweaters to clothing to blankets to baby clothing to other accessories that I can't think of right now, to headbands, to hats, to scarves. You can make it with Unicorn Solid. It is a beautiful soft yarn. I would say out of our merinos and merino blends, it is probably the softest in my opinion. To be fair, our extra fine merino is also very soft, but I do think that Unicorn Solid has a slight edge. One thing you might notice is that the skeins that I'm holding here, or the hanks that I'm holding here, do have an older label. The current label looks like what is shown on our webpage. So if you pull up the website, you will see that the new hanks actually come with a white label. That is the main thing that has changed. They have not. The color 18 is discontinued.
Yeah. Saffron.
I am going to have to stockpile.
That is you and Gia's favorite, both of you.
It is Gia's favorite. My favorite is the 26, but it is a close second. So,
okay.
And I had not seen that it was discontinued.
Mm.
So if you're into like a lovely light blue, if you're into a lovely light lilac, or if you're into a very bright orange, you might want to grab that now that you get the chance at 40% off. I did not know that was discontinued.
But nice to know it.
Nice to know it in advance.
Yeah.
And nice to know it while you get a special discount on it. Someone asked about the yardage once again. It's 437 yards.
Mm.
I know it says a weird feet measurement on the website, but ignore that. It's 437. One of these hanks gets you about a pair of socks if you are looking at sort of medium-sized women's feet. So anything up to like a size 10 or 11 women's, I think you can get, or like, let's say a size 10. You can get from one. If you have big feet like me, add a second one just to be on the safe side. And of course, like I said, you can make many other beautiful things. Shall we check what people have made out of this yarn?
We shall.
Because I've said, like, it's not just socks, and you did not prove, well, you know, you proved me right, because the very first thing we have is this beautiful colorwork sweater. We have a...
It feels Irish. Like it has a little bit of an Irish vibe.
No, because of the green, you think? Or because of the pattern?
Yeah, the green and yellow, I suppose. I don't know.
You can see shawls, you can see beautiful wraps. This looks super cool as well. I think this is unicorn combined with unicorn solid, so our colorful unicorn version combined with unicorn solid. And we can see loads of vests, and there are some beautiful socks, and there are some cute little wrist warmers as well. So a lovely yarn for all of your cozy projects, for everything that is supposed to keep you warm, because merino is great for that. However, it is not just that. Merino actually is an amazing material that creates a really lovely, I think, kind of microclimate on your skin. It wicks up a lot of moisture, evaporates it fast so you don't feel wet if you get sweaty, or if you get rained on. And it just keeps you feeling really nice. So even in the summer months, I mean, also we're in Scandinavia, so I guess we have a little bit of a different perspective on it. Even in the summer months, I have a few sort of merino socks, for instance, that I actually really like to wear when I'm out and about, like on hiking trails or camping and stuff like that. So that is Unicorn Solid, which is 40% off with our code HAPPY40. That code can just be applied at checkout, so just grab yourself some beautiful Unicorn Solid and go to town. Do be mindful that you will want to, you don't have to use the Yarn Swift, but you will want to wind this into a little cake or into a little ball before you work with it. Don't try to work straight from the hank. It's not going to work. It's just going to end in tears, and it's just going to make you sad, and we don't want that. So just a little PSA there from me. That was Unicorn Solid. Melissa is saying it's like they're telling us which are being discontinued so I can order it.
As I pout.
I mean, as I pout, yeah. I do think that that's actually a really nice feature to have that information if it's just a color that is being discontinued, because otherwise we sometimes don't have any way of informing people about that. If a whole yarn is discontinued, they usually are really good about putting a big disclaimer on the webpage, but of course, if it's just one color, yeah. I actually like the transparency. It's a new feature. And with that, we are going to... What does the Happy 40 card work on? So Happy 40 works on all the yarns we have in the selection today. So all the yarns that are shown up here, Happy 40 should work on, and it works on the base price. So if you have any other discount codes in your cart, it'll only take the best one for you, and it doesn't apply on top of bulk, it applies instead of bulk. Dayanira is saying, I made the rookie as a rookie I made the mistake of starting a project straight from the hank. Yikes. I made the mistake of thinking I could just kind of lay out the hank and kind of roll from it, and then I tried to kind of stretch it between two chairs, and both of those failed. So then now I take my hanks to the office where we have a yarn swift and just swift it. With that, we've reached the end of section 1, which means we're at the first giveaway of the day. So this giveaway winner was drawn ahead of time from everyone who clicked going on our Facebook event. Thank you so much to all of you who do. The events are listed on our page, so if you hop on over there, you can also click going on the next one already if you want. And our winner number 1 of the night is Rose Miller. Rose Miller, congratulations, you are our first winner. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Please send us an email to live@hobbii.com and please write that you are our winner, Rose Miller, and 2, please include which country you are writing us from, because we need to know which store our gift card needs to be valid in so that you can use it. So please write to us, dear Rose Miller. And with that, we're hoppity-hopping straight into... Rebecca is saying, I was thinking that the yarns that have certain colors being discontinued is a fluke because of the website stuff going on. Are they actually being discontinued? I will double check that information because I don't know. It could also be a fluke, but I do know that we do occasionally have yarns where one color is discontinued or sometimes even just replaced over time. So a color might get discontinued and might appear just under a different color name or number. And in those cases, that does happen occasionally. So I kind of just figured that it's a new feature of the website. I will double check the information. I will make sure to let you know next time if that is the case or not. I will make a note. I don't know. That was me miming, putting a note in my head.
You have had 4 sodas.
I have had a lot of caffeine. It was a good day, but it was a lot of, like, Tina is asking if Hobbii is ever going to stock a Yarn Swift. So I know that we did stock a Yarn Swift for quite a while. I do know that there were actually limitations to where we were able to send it. So the problem wasn't that we didn't stock it, the problem was that we literally could not ship it to certain countries and regions of the world, just because carrier limitations said, for instance, the package that the Yarn Swift comes in is simply too large to be shipped to those locations. I don't know if that will ever change. I mean, I guess that's something our logistics department will have to figure out, but that is the reason that we are, I don't know if that's the only reason, but that is one reason that the Yarn Swift is not available. Coco's asking when Tea Time Color 19 will be restocked. I sadly don't know that information. Our customer support team does. If you want to email them at support@hobbii.com, they'll be sure to let you know. They can look it up. I can't look it up right now from the studio, sadly. But yeah.
I'm seeing a couple of people thinking that the discontinued sign is also its out of stock sign, which is not the same thing. Right? Because if something
it shouldn't be, no, because the out of stock is when it's grayed out, which we saw with Tea Time, for instance. So, like I said, I will double check the information and make sure to let you know next week. Well, I won't let you know next week because I'll be on holiday next week, but Christina will let you know next week when she's here. We're going to move on now to our next yarns. And the next yarns we have for you are actually these color packs. So we've got the Friends Cotton 8.4 and 8.8 color packs. And we don't have any loose skeins of 8.4 and 8.8.
I can find some for you.
Right? Matt's going to find some for me. Thank you, Matt. But actually, one of the reasons I put these yarns in is I know this is I hope you enjoy the segment because it doesn't really apply to anyone who does not live in a German-speaking or German country, I think, because I think it is a very specific German thing. But we have this collection of patterns that I am a huge fan of. I'm going to pull them up and try to show them to you in 1 second. Because, yeah, I just wanted to share those with you. And the Friends color packs are perfect for those. So the Friends color packs come with 10 skeins. They're always put together in colors. Friends Cotton 8.4 is a 4-ply cotton. It's a fingering or sock weight. And then Friends Cotton 8.8 is a kind of DK weight because it's like twice the thickness of a Friends Cotton 8.4. And it is an 8-ply cotton. So you have that kind of there. And it's always packs of 10, and so you get a lot of different colors. And of course there's heaps of projects you can make when you have a lovely selection of colors like that. You could make anything from just stocking up, you could make beautiful garments, you can make accessories, you can make amigurumi. It's a very versatile yarn. But we do actually have this series of patterns, and I'm a huge fan of this. And I'm just gonna pull it up and show it to you. And I guess you may not know what this is, but I will explain. So this is what in Germany we call a Schultüte, which means a school cone. And this is actually what every single German child gets on their first day of school. So when you start school, which schools just let out for the summer in Germany, so it's kind of like not 100% the right time. But when you start school, your family will gift you one of these. And it is a cone shaped, it's hollow in the middle, it's usually made from cardboard. And then you can either buy them pre-made or you can make them yourself. So a lot of families, like my mom made mine myself. Mine was just blue cardboard, and then it actually had these little kind of picture frames that she glued around it, and then mine actually had pictures of all of the members of my family on their first day of school. So I had a picture of my mom's first day of school, my dad's first day of school, my grandparents. Those where we had pictures. We didn't have pictures for all of them, and some other family members. So it had like this kind of cute, like I was like the continuation of the history. My sister had like a little alphabet with like family members next to, so L was for Louisa, so it was like L, and then there was a little picture of me. So it's very, very common to make those yourself, and we actually have a range of 4 different patterns where you can crochet those. And of course, like I said, I understand that this is a purely German tradition. These patterns, in fact, only exist in German. We don't even have them in any other languages. But I just thought it's such a cute project, and it's such a, I think, really fun cultural tidbit that I thought maybe that tickled some of you to learn about. But yeah, it is very cute, especially considering that those cones are usually like yay big. So imagine like they're almost as tall as the child starting school. Like you're holding it, you're kind of just like, and then it's filled with little gifts. So you usually get a little bit of candy, and you usually get some stuff that you need for school anyway. So mine had watercolors, for instance, which we needed for art class, or had some new like felt markers or felt tips and stuff like that. So it's kind of a blend of useful stuff and just, yeah, cute little bits. And it's just, I think, a really, really cute project. And for something like that, for instance, this is brilliant. And it kind of made me think, if you show the picture again, the basic principle, of course, here is you have the cone, but you can see that basically it's just these cute little crocheted appliques. And again, for that, this yarn is perfect, because you can just make these cute little appliques and put them on other things. You could put them on gift bags. You could essentially adapt that pattern and just turn it into like a little gift bag, or a little gift cone, I suppose. So yeah, that's why I wanted to include those patterns, because I know they don't really apply and they are in German. But for those of you who didn't know, now you've learned about this cute, fun German tradition. And it's only for the first day of school. So it's only, you get it once in your life.
Someone asked, again on holiday. Well, we're not going on holiday for the streams. It's just Louisa is going on a personal holiday. Yes.
To be fair, the 2 weeks ago, I was working remotely. So I wasn't technically on vacation. I was just in Germany visiting family, and I was working while I was there. But of course, that meant I couldn't come here for the stream. So next week is part of my summer vacation. I'm taking a lot of vacations this year. Well, not a lot, but I'm kind of spread them out a little bit. I'm taking a few breaks. But yes, I will be on holiday next week. Next week, I'll properly be on vacation.
And we have the poll is done.
And the poll is done, and yeah. Cotton won. Cotton won the poll with 48% of the vote, which is great, because I'm just now talking about a cotton yarn, or 2 cotton yarns actually. But yeah, so the color packs, like I said, they come in packs of 10. So you get 10 skeins, and you can choose if you want them in the 8-4 cotton or in the 8-8 cotton. And I'm just gonna pop 2 of them next to each other just to give you a better idea of the size difference. Like I said, the 8-4 here in the darker teal is, matches my nails beautifully, is a 4-ply, and the 8-8 is an 8-ply, so you get twice the thickness, half the length. You get 100 and how many yards? You get 174 yards on the 8-4 cotton, and you get 82 yards on the 8-8, so it's a little less than half that you're getting. Amelia is saying maybe they should also do it for when you start university, since that is also a major life change. That is true. I mean, it is fun, like, just to see these little little traditions all over the world. So one thing Germany, for instance, doesn't do is we don't wear a cap and gown for graduation, or a cap, or we don't have any of that. We literally go to the gymnasium, like it's our high school gymnasium, and they hand you a diploma. I don't even remember if they handed me a diploma or just like an envelope. And then you take a picture, and then you have a graduation ball, which is very fun. It's just a party.
Yeah, we have a little sailor hat.
Yeah, that's one thing I love. Yeah, the captain's hat. So in Denmark and in Sweden, the student, as they're called, so like the people just graduating high school, they wear a little captain's hat. And then in Sweden, I don't know, presumably they do the same here. They like ride around, like they kind of on the back of a truck around the city, like and celebrate. And I always love it when I see them. I'm always very happy for them. Yeah, so this is what you wear for graduation in Denmark and Sweden, presumably Finland and Norway as well. Yeah, so Germans get a little cone when they start school, and you get a hat when you finish.
And actually, like, multiple Danish crafters I've seen in our photo galleries actually make them crochet.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah.
That is very nice. So here's another cute project you could make for that.
You also have some more actually patterns here coming in?
Yeah, but those are for the next yarn.
Oh, right, sorry.
But
I completely missed it.
But they kind of work together. I can see Miralee asking, what is the difference between the Friends cotton and rainbow cotton? And that is a very good question. So there is very little difference. So I have an 8/4 rainbow cotton here, and I have an 8/4 Friends cotton. And as you can see, can you tell which one is which? They're both 8/4 cottons. Can you tell which one's which? No, you probably can't. I mean, I just showed you the Friends cotton before, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So 8/4 and 8/8 are actually essentially universal. So 8/4 just means it is 4 plies of a size 8 cotton thread. So you have 4 plies of a size 8 cotton. And then you have, for an 8/8, you have 8 plies of a size 8 cotton. So it's just the thickness of the individual ply multiplied by how many of them you have. And so all 8/4 and all 8/8 yarns are very similar to each other. Of course, there can be slight variations, because also how tightly you spin a yarn will slightly affect, like, the thickness of it. There will be slighter variations, but essentially there is no difference.
Sorry.
The key difference here is that our Friends cotton is part of our Friends collection, which means that if you are looking for a color palette where across different materials you get the exact same shade at the exact same color all the time, then Friends is for you. If you don't care about that, then rainbow cotton is just as good a choice. You can also combine them with each other. So if you find a beautiful teal that you absolutely love in the rainbow, and then you want to combine that with a beautiful orange, and you only find the right one with the Friends cotton, then no problem. They go together beautifully.
And we have a little poll again.
We do have a little poll again, and Matt is now asking for, Matt, we are now asking you which size of Friends cotton you actually prefer. I do think that the 8/4 is kind of, this is the one that I have here, so the 4-ply fingering or sock weight yarn is kind of the one that is the most commonly used, because it is also very versatile and very applicable. You can use it for anything from amigurumi to clothing to accessories very nicely. The 8/8 is significantly thicker. You can still use that for all of those projects. Of course, if you make clothing with it, it is going to get a little bit thicker, so you get a slightly more rustic sort of structure to your stitches. You get a lot more weight added to your projects, but it is also very nice and thick. So if you want to make something like a pot holder, for instance, that you actually want to have a little bit of kind of heft to it, then something like an 8/8 cotton would actually be an amazing choice for that as well. We do have both the 8/4 and the 8/8 color packs today. If you want a direct link to them, you can type the following code in the chat for the 8/4. It is FCP84, FCP84, which I always say sounds like a football team. FCP84 is the team that I support. Or you can type FCP88 if you want the direct link to the Friends Cotton 8/8 color pack. So these are the Friends Cotton color packs, which are part of our selection today, and the German patterns for the Schultüte, as we call it, you can find on the German website if you want to look it up. Yeah, they don't exist in any other language, because that's pretty much the Amber is saying it is easier to double up the 8-8, the 8-4 than to split the 8-8. That is very true. I can confirm that you are correct. And B is saying, I like 8-8 for thicker tops and 8-4 for amigurumis and summer clothes. Exactly. It really depends on what the project is that you want to work on. If you want to do something that has some more finer details, for instance, then the 8-4, just due to being a finer size, is going to be a little easier to work with. And so it really depends. But yeah, if you want a direct link, just type FCP84 or FCP88 in the chat. The codes also will appear above me eventually, and then you can just type what you see up here. And with that, I think we're going to move on to the next yarn, which is the one that Matt was just already quite excited to show you patterns for.
Yeah.
There we are. And you will actually instantly see why I selected those patterns. In conjunction with the yarn I already showed you. So I picked out two cute little patterns, and this first one is called the Cloud children's hat. It is a cute little children's hat. It's a knit project, and it's on our website, available for free. And of course, as you can see, it once again uses appliques. That is the common denominator here. And just because I wanted to highlight that that is a really cool technique, especially if you are kind of starting out, or if you also have some maybe older projects that you just want to zhuzh up a little bit. I have found that I love the idea of just creating little appliques made out of yarn and just adding them to your projects. We also have this beautiful pattern for a children's cardigan. This is the applique jacket pattern. So again, you have a cute little cardigan, and then you just have these cute little appliques that you then just create on their own and then just sew onto the finished project. I really, really liked the I really liked the idea of kind of highlighting that. You can also see the little path of the bee flying is actually stitched onto it, so it's embroidered onto the project. And I just wanted to highlight that as a little craft choice and craft option, just creating these little pieces of art and then just sewing them onto existing projects, or even something that you have bought. So if you've bought a cute jacket and you want to give it that little extra something, then just check out these cool patterns, which they're not marked as applique. I mean, the applique jacket is called applique, so you will find it if you look for that. But sometimes I feel like the clouds, for instance, you wouldn't necessarily have known to look that up on the website. So I just wanted to highlight that. And both of those patterns are, of course, made using Amigo, which is the next yarn that we have for you. Amigo is a beautiful, soft, 100% acrylic yarn. It is a so-called high bulk acrylic, which essentially just means that in the production process, it goes through a few extra steps where it is essentially exposed to steam or heat so that the individual fibers curl up a little bit more, which means that they just become a little bit more voluminous. So you get a really kind of squishy texture of the yarn, a really nice soft surface, and a lot of little air pockets in the yarn, which is always great for insulation. This yarn runs for 191 yards or 574 feet according to our website, which again, not sure if that's fact or fiction.
I mean, I actually think that is true.
Matt's like, I'll look it up. It's 175 meters, 194 yards, 191 yards. So that is what it is. Kokup is saying, I use leftover yarn to make appliques and clothing for dolls. That's also a lovely idea. That's also a really cute project and a really cute idea.
I also don't like the addition that it shows both the feet and the inches in case it isn't exact.
For that extra 1 inch.
Yeah, exactly.
That it probably doesn't even have. Because probably like the way they wind it up, it might not even have that 1 extra inch. Like it might just cut off.
It was very important. That
Who
1
knows?
inch of Amigo.
Who knows? Jax is saying Amigo is so soft. It is super soft. And MC is making the wizard owl with an 8/6 cotton. And
how did you not show the wizard owl?
I was gonna, and then I was like, no, let's not. I think I put it in 2 weeks ago for Tweet Dreams and was like, Christina is going to be so confused why I'm making her show this pattern. Yeah, you have to look it up on the English one. Matt is pulling it up. Don't worry, everyone.
But not in its like normal.
If you've ever wondered what it feels like to be utterly charmed and obsessed with a pattern, that explains my relationship to this little guy. This is the wizard owl. I can't stop. And the wizard owl is made using Tweet Dreams for the body, and then the cloak and hat are made in Amigo, and it is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. And it's so cute. Look at him. And again, use your scrap yarns to make the wizard owl. Like, just... Nicole is saying, you can't not show the wizard owl. I know! I thought that the whole, like, showing all the different appliques would be a really lovely kind of storyline. I was like, oh, this is a very clear kind of theme that runs through some of these patterns that connects them to each other. Some of them are crocheted, some of them are knit. And then I thought I could also put the wizard owl because his cloak is made from Amigo. And then I thought, are they going to notice? And then, of course, immediately Matt noticed. Demetrius is saying, I wish there was a crochet version for him. I wish too.
You can knit, though.
I can. I am slowly getting better at knitting, that is true. I don't know if I can knit the wizard owl yet. We'll see. I would love to try it at some point. Someone is asking if it's the Duolingo owl's cousin.
Could be, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. One of them became like a language coach / whatever, social media influencer, let's be honest. And the other became a wizard.
If we're saying that the wizard owl is Gandalf, then the same thing would be kind of saying that, I guess, Melkor is the Duolingo owl. Right? Or Sauron. Because they're made of the same cloth, right?
They are, yeah.
The owls.
Yeah, they're owls.
They're the same thing.
Both of them are owls. One does not simply not show the wizard owl. You're right, everyone. You're right, everyone. So we did show him Wizard Owl, which you can make out of Amigo. You can also make him out of plenty of other yarns. Like I said, 8/6 was just mentioned, but it is absolutely adorable. Amigo, you get a very, very nice, lightweight, very bouncy, very, very soft acrylic material, easy to take care of, machine washable at medium temperature. And just an all-around super versatile yarn. The recommended hook size or needle size is a 4 to 5 millimeters. So again, it is like a nice medium size. So works up really well for a variety of projects. I did show the children's jacket and hat with the appliques just because I thought that was a really cool way to highlight that technique. But of course you can make adorable little amigurumis such as the wizard owl, who is knit, by the way, which I think is another thing that I find really cool about him, because with toys, with plushies, amigurumi or crochet is kind of I think the way that most people think. So I like that we actually show a variety of patterns where you can just knit yourself a little plushie if you're not a crocheter. So this was Amigo, available in a large range of colors, beautiful for any kind of project you might want to make it, and 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40 for the next 24 hours. Kokap is asking, how come 10k watch bingo, but it's only about 300 who are watching the live shopping? I think a lot of it is honestly platform. It's because you need to have a Facebook account or Instagram or YouTube to check out the live shopping. And it's a little bit more of a time commitment because at least when I'm hosting, you know you're in for a longer stream because I can't stop talking. So I think it's a little bit of a blend of those things. It's just different formats. We do have giveaways though. And speaking of giveaways, we actually have one coming up right now. This one, we are going to ask you to just put happy40 in the chat. As I've mentioned before, we do not have a landing page that we can link to today. If you type happy40 in the chat, you will definitely get a message sent to you that has a list of today's yarns. So just type happy40 the way it is here. No hashtag, just happy40 the way it is spelled here. Is this still from when you were like making fun of me for saying the wrong thing?
But I think it was a funny. I think
it was very funny.
It was a good thing to actually do.
This is
to say it.
Again, people won't remember. This was probably like 6 weeks ago. I was supposed to say type hashtag giveaway in the chat, and I just, because I've gotten so used to saying type happy40 in the chat, type happy40. I just said, and for the giveaway, type happy40 in the chat. And Matt, without missing a beat, within 2 seconds, just changed it. So now hasn't changed it back.
Someone
is saying...
It doesn't work on YouTube, by the way, the Happy 40
Oh,
link
yes.
thing.
So typing Happy 40 in the chat to participate... but to participate on the giveaway, it does?
No, I mean to get the link sent to them.
Yes. If you are commenting on YouTube, if you're commenting on YouTube, we can't send you any links there, sadly, because the system we're using does not work for YouTube. But I hope you still enjoy the show nonetheless, and you can type Happy 40 to participate on this giveaway for a gift card worth 25 monies. Oh no, Nicole is saying, of course, this far I've made it without freezing, and now it freezes during the giveaway. But just still type it, it's still going to count you. Just tippy type it in the chat. Is it case sensitive? I don't think it should be, but just to be sure, type it exactly how it is here. So just Happy 40, don't do the plus, just do Happy 40, just the way it is spelled here. Just to be on the safe side. I know the trigger is not case sensitive, so Happy 40 will get you to send the message no matter how you write it, because... Carol was asking if I finished my Suki slipover. Almost. I finished the back. I am now waiting for me to come back from holiday. At some point in July, Jaya and I are going to do the penultimate, or the final one of the saga, where we are going to finish with the ribbing, because I still need help with that. I don't know how to pick up stitches along the sleeves and neckline to make the ribbing for those, but I'm almost done and very excited. And we do have our second winner of the night, and it is Laura Louise Garrett's Grant. That is... I like that Laura Louise is alliterated and then Garrett's Grant is also alliterated. Big fan of that. Laura Louise, congratulations. You are our second winner of the night. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And in order to get your gift card, please send an email to the lovely Matthias at live@hobbii.com. Do include which country you are writing from, just so we can make sure that on the first try you get a gift card that you can use. So congrats. And I hope you enjoy. We will have one more little guessing game giveaway coming up, and we will pick one final winner from everyone who is giving us a little like on Facebook. So be sure to like this video. I always feel like really kind of needy when I say that. I'm like, please like this video. Please, please. It makes me so happy when you like this video. But it does. We've got 3 yarns coming up next, which I don't know if there's a common theme here. I honestly today just grouped them by what I was feeling when I was putting them together. But we've got in the selection Portobello, lovely mushrooms. Now that I'm thinking of mushrooms, I instantly get hungry. We've got Portobello. Look at these colors. Are they not the prettiest? We've got Mohair Delight. And we've got the yarn that I mentioned at the very beginning as one of the ones that I would think of as a very beginner-friendly yarn. Actually, I would say an 8A cotton can also be very beginner-friendly. An 8/4 cotton for me personally is a little bit too thin. I would say Amigo is also a good beginner yarn. Amigo is actually the first yarn I ever, when I started working at Hobbii, they gifted me 2 skeins of Amigo. And no crochet hook or needle, so I had to actually get one myself to figure out what to do with it. Pretty sure I actually still have that skein somewhere. It was purple, so it wasn't exactly a color that was like me. We've got Friends Wool as the final yarn of this little grouping. Laura Louise is saying, oh my god, it actually happened on the chat. Congratulations, Laura Louise. Very happy for you. Do write that email, and yeah, please do include which country you're in, just so we know what is just so we know to set up the code correctly. Let's get started with the first yarn in this little section, and the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Portobello. Portobello looks like this, and it is a absolutely gorgeous yarn. Portobello has a really interesting chainette structure. It is made from cotton, so the 60% cotton, which is the little white tube that's at the center of the yarn. And then there is a blend of 28% acrylic and 12% wool fibers blown into it, which gives it this look where you have the tube shining through, and then you have the fibers kind of sticking out from it, giving it the color, and you still get a little bit of the yarn fluff sticking out, but it is kind of held in place by this chain tube, which I think is a really, really cool way to make yarn, or a really cool construction for the yarn. We actually have Cascata coming up later, which has a similar construction but is a color changing yarn. So we've got that coming up later. I will kind of give you a side-by-side comparison of the two when we get to that. You get I think it's a DK weight, if I'm not mistaken. It has a recommended hook or needle size of 4 to 5 millimeters. I'm trying to, because it says medium, which is the German, like in German I would know what a medium yarn weight is, but I don't know what the yarn weight would translate to. That's not going to help.
Oh.
No, because it's the same. No, because it's the same word. The problem is that much like with the measurements, the web page is currently displaying kind of one information for everyone, which is the European. But yeah, so
I see.
That's kind of why I'm guessing a little bit what the yarn weights are. I'm going to look it up next time just to make sure that I can give you the accurate information. But it's a 4 to 5 millimeter hook or needle recommendation, and you get 120 meters, which is 131 yards on one of these, or 393 feet if you care to know, and 8 inches if you care to know that information. All Portobello colors have the, hey, focus little camera, there. All of the Portobellos have the white kind of shining through. Of course, depending on the color of the fibers, it is going to be a lot more subtle. See here, where it's low contrast, the white almost disappears into the beautiful kind of minty green. And then on the more high contrast colors, the white is going to be a lot more visible. Matt is going to see if he can just fix the camera so I don't have to refocus it. Thank you.
That should do it.
Wendy is saying, can you use any gift card to order? I don't know how you mean. So if you are using a gift card, if you're using a Hobbii gift card, you can use that to place an order. Yes. I hope that helps. Someone is asking, how's mohair compared to kid silk? I'm assuming you mean mohair delight. Composition is the key one, but also yarn weight is the other key one. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get there. Portobello is a really, really lovely yarn for those who love that kind of melange look. And it has a slightly, it's not scratchy, but it has that slightly more coarse surface, which comes, I think, partially from the cotton and partially from the color blend. And a really nice kind of, it's a very, I hope you understand what I mean when I say that you work it up, it becomes, or it can very easily become very structured. If you work this up with a smaller hook, or if you, like me, have really high tension, your stitches will get quite, well, tight, obviously, but they'll also get quite sturdy. So this is a yarn that you could, for instance, also use to make something like a backpack or a bag, which I think is really cool. Or you could use it for any kind of clothing. You could use it for a nice outer layer, even. I would think a nice little vest or a nice cardigan made from this is going to be a show-stopping piece and just also a really, really fun project. But yeah, from one tight crocheter to others, I would highly, highly recommend sizing up your hook if you feel like your stitches get a bit too tight, because you will otherwise end up with little stitches that are going to be really hard. Someone is asking, is there a basket without a hard base pattern or yarn for that in the selection today? I don't think we have anything. We don't have a basket pattern today. Out of all the yarns that I've shown you today, I would say that Portobello is one that you could probably consider making a basket with, or the 8/8 cotton, just because Portobello has a high cotton content, so if you work it up nice and tight, it will become very structured, which is great for something like a basket. We don't have any sort of basket yarns per se in the selection today. I hope that answers your question. I hope I understood that the way it was intended. Portobello is a hand wash recommended yarn, so for keeping it beautiful and smooth and soft for a long time, we recommend hand washing it. We do have a few lovely ideas from our user gallery on projects that you could make with it. Anything from gorgeous, gorgeous hats to jackets to a pair of house socks, I would imagine, to a cute slip over, to scarves, blankets, and a really cool basket with a eye. Can you pull up that basket? That looks super cool. That looks really cool. Oh, it's a dice bag! That makes so much sense. I was wondering, like, what would you put into that? Your dice. Duh. That is really cool. It's a dragon eye dice bag. Honestly, as someone who owns not that many dice yet, but is steadily increasing her collection, you do kind of feel like a bit like a dragon. Especially if you're in a shop that sells dice and you just look and you just go, do I need them? No. And then your brain goes, but they're shiny. You don't have any shiny ones yet. And then I go, yes, I do. I have the purple ones that Amando got me as a gift. And then it's like, but these are green and shiny. You don't have any green and shiny ones yet. And I swear, I have 2 sets of dice that only work on specific RPGs. I have one set that anytime I play Call of Cthulhu, I roll incredibly well on, but anytime I use it for any other RPG, they do not work. And then I have one set that is my D&D set that I only roll well on when I play D&D.
I would wager that like 80% of the people out there watching us
have no idea what I'm talking about. And there's probably 2 people who are exactly like me, who are agreeing on the dragon thing, agreeing on the always need more dice thing, and probably agree on the certain dice just work better for certain roles or certain games.
You know what? I don't even play D&D, and I've seen those dice, and I've been like, I want those.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Yeah. That's how I got into D&D. Mostly, partially.
Oh, because of the
I mean, no. I mean, I got into it more so through friends and then and stuff. But one of the things that definitely kept me hooked is every time I saw the dice, I was like, I should buy some new dice. And then I thought, well, then I have to play. If you have the dice, you have to play. Someone is asking if Portobello is great for garments. So yes, it is. However, it does have that slightly, well, more robust feel to it. So if you're looking for something that is going to just be really, really soft and flowy, then I would say out of today's yarns, maybe something like Tea Time would be more appropriate for that, or something like Mohair Delight, which is coming up later, although Mohair Delight has mohair, so if you're very sensitive, that's a whole other story. If you're looking for something that's kind of more of an outer layer, or something that you don't mind having a little bit of a more robust feel to it, so like a really nice thick sweater, then I would say 100% go for it. And Kelso is saying, dice bags are one of my best sellers. And then Holly is saying, I only know what you're talking about because of my daughter. You apparently have a really cool daughter. You're probably also very cool. My dad, 2 years ago, asked me for the official D&D cookbook. My dad does not play D&D. I don't think he ever has. But
he wants to cook it up?
No, he loves cookbooks. And he saw it in a fantasy bookstore that I took him to. And then he was like, just saying that book would be a nice Christmas gift. And then a few weeks before Christmas, he actually messaged me again and was like, don't know if you remember, but remember that D&D cookbook? And I was like, yes, I do. It's like, it's amazing.
You had it lined up, basically.
I'd already bought it by that point. And people are saying, you can never have enough. Tiffany's saying, dice hate me. Snake eyes all the time. Well, if you roll in, well, I guess, snake eyes, like a 1 would be good or a 2 would be good in Cthulhu. Just saying. You can't get, but you know what I mean. Holly's saying she doesn't think I am. Relate to her about D&D and then probably she will. No, it is very, very cool. I still haven't seen the new D&D movie. I should. It was on my watch list for a long time. I just never got around to it. And I'm currently on a little bit of a detox from all the streaming services.
You also gotta play Baldur's Gate.
I still can't.
Yep.
Play Baldur's Gate because I still haven't installed a new SSD in my computer. These are all old stories. For those of you who only watch this very occasionally, you're getting a great kind of glimpse into like what the last few months have been like in my life. Let's talk about some yarns instead. I'm going to talk to you about Mohair Delight, which is a very lovely mohair acrylic blend. It's a 50-50 blend, so you get a good amount of mohair, and then you get the acrylic mixed with it. And this is a great yarn for those of you who like the idea of mohair, so who like the softness of it, who are not sensitive to it, because I know mohair can be a little bit irritating on the skin for people with sensitive skin. If that is you, this is still great maybe for something like a jacket that you don't have touching your skin. If your dad likes Lord of the Rings, the Middle-earth cookbook is lovely. He does like the Lord of the Rings. He actually is the one who got me into the Lord of the Rings when I was entirely too young for the Lord of the Rings. And I will have a look at that because, I mean, Christmas is coming up. and I'm always looking
It's
for
coming
good
up.
gift ideas.
It's June.
Yeah, it's 6 months away.
It's June.
It's like
We
it's
don't
a
talk
great
about
time.
Christmas now.
It's a great time to get your gifts in order now, because like
I mean, true.
to just know what you're gonna get. It's like my dad is like either I have the best gift or I have nothing, and there's no in between. Can you explain what D&D is? I can't. It's a tabletop role-playing game. So it is a game that is entirely kind of storyline based. You play as a character that has certain characteristics. It's kind of like, imagine a video game that you play with your friends, but you're playing it while sitting at a table with pen and paper. So it's a tabletop RPG, or sometimes people also refer to those as like pen and paper games, where someone tells you a story and then you have to make decisions within that story, and you use a bunch of dice to reveal the outcomes of those decisions and those actions. So there is a luck component to it, there is a strategy component to it, there is a storytelling component to it, and you can get as deep as you want to into the kind of acting aspect of it. So I've played with people who keep it very straight, who are essentially kind of removed from their character, who are just like, well, my character now does this, and I've played games where we full on do voices and pretend to be the character. So you can go as high or as low as you want, or as deep as you want. And it is literally for everyone. It's great fun. If you love kind of, like escape room games and stuff like that, those are kind of a great gateway to try out if that kind of tabletop role playing is for you, because they're also time limited, because a D&D campaign can stretch on for years if you get into it. There's a lot more to it. There's an entire back catalog of characters, of monsters, of worlds, of lore, but you can also play a homebrew game where you just play as yourself. Like, you can really make it what you want. So that is a short introduction what D&D, it stands for Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons instead of D&D, which is the abbreviation for it. So yeah, that's what that is. And this is Mohair Delight. It is amazing for those of you who want to work with mohair but don't love the idea of holding multiple strands, because a lot of times mohair yarns are lace weight yarns. And so if you want to combine them with something else, you're always ending up holding multiple strands. And Mohair Delight is kind of an answer to that. It is I think it's probably a light worsted weight. That would be my best guess, or DK weight. Again, I'm a bit put off by the fact that I don't have that information readily available for myself right now, but I will look into it for the next one and make sure that I have that info for you. The recommended hook or needle size is a 5 to 6 millimeter, and it has that floof and fluffiness, but as I said, it's only one strand at a time, so it's a little more manageable. You get 150 meters on one of these, which is equivalent to 164 yards, and or 492 feet.
And 1 inch.
And 1 inch. And it's a lovely yarn that is both lightweight, so you get a really nice kind of you get a really nice light and airy structure. It is nice and fluffy from the mohair. It is nice and soft, and it will keep you nice and warm. Pam and Sarah are both dice, like me, dice goblins, and we are all united in that. And Tyler was saying, I had to step away for a moment. Did you say how it compares to Kit Silk? So the main difference from the Mohair Delight to Kit Silk is, like I said, the weight. So our friends Kit Silk, or any of our Kit Silk yarns, in fact, any of our other mohair yarns are lace weight. So do we have one that's handy, Matt?
Like a Kit Silk somewhere?
Yeah, or a Diablo, honestly. I mean,
we do have, actually, for the bingo, we did have some kind of mohair. Let me find it for you. One second.
Matt's gonna look for lace weight mohair. It might not be Friends Kit Silk, it might be Diablo, but those are the same weight, so I can show you the comparison a little bit easier.
Oh, yes.
There we go, and it's Diablo, but that's as good as we're gonna get. We're not just moving the website around, we're also moving the studio around, as many of you will know. So our yarn storage is currently a little bit more removed, and also just a little bit more messy. So I've got them next to each other here now. So the green is the Mohair Delight that I was showing you already, and then this in comparison is one strand of Diablo, which is comparable in weight to Kit Silk. So as you can see, one strand of this is less than half. I'd say you'd have to probably do 3 strands of this to reach this kind of thickness, especially considering, like, if I'm not holding, like, if you see it in kind of an unstretched state, you will see that there is quite a difference in the yarn weight. So that is number one. If you want to reach the same kind of bulkiness using our Diablo or Kid Silk, you will need to hold sort of 3 strands together or 2 strands together to work it up, and so Mohair Delight kind of comes in to help you not have to do that. The other comparison is the other difference, I'm so sorry, is the composition. That's where I was going. That's why I kept the same comparison. I was thinking of composition. The other difference is the composition. So this is a 50-50 mohair acrylic blend. Our friend's Kid Silk is a 70-30 or 72-28 mohair and silk blend. So you get slightly different properties from each yarn. You get slightly different slightly different components. So those are the key differences here. Mohair Delight is kind of for those who like the more lightweight but still want one slightly bulkier thread, whereas Kid Silk is great to build up that thickness to the desired effect as you want, or to use it in comparison with another in combination with another yarn. I'm so sorry. The Coke Zero is slowly wearing off, so now I'm like stumbling over my words. To combine it with another yarn to like build your own kind of combination. Both have the kind of brushed fluffiness that is characteristic of mohair. We do have some lovely patterns that you can make with it. We in fact have 2 that are both called the same name. They're both called the Lori pattern. So Lori pattern. We have a sweater and we have a cardigan. I believe that Regina, who is our lovely colleague who is the new bingo hostess, is working on the Lori cardigan right now, or it might have been the sweater. I know she did one of them, and she used 3 strands of Kid Silk instead of the Mohair Delight to make it. So the Lori cardigan and Lori sweater, both of these are free knit patterns that are available on the website with a lovely like raglan pattern. So the Lori sweater and the Lori cardigan, both made with Mohair Delight, as a little idea on what you can make with these yarns. Looks like a DK weight, says Tammy. Thank you very much. I imagine it would be, yeah. It's either DK or light worsted, I guess. Will there be new colors of Twister coming out? I don't know, Kelly, but I will check into that for you happily. Our customer service department is otherwise also always able to help you out with questions. Does the feel vary much? I don't know what that means. Since what they're made out of is different. Yes, so I would say it's hard to describe like how things feel when you touch them. I would definitely say that if you compare a Mohair Delight to a Friends Kid Silk, the Friends Kid Silk is going to feel a little bit fluffier on the surface. And then just if you just stroke it on the skein, I think there isn't that big of a difference. I think when you've worked it up with the Friends Kid Silk, if you depending on how many strands you use, you will just notice a difference in the texture of your stitches, and then also the fact that it is a much higher percentage of mohair, I think is going to make that feel a little bit different. Not necessarily softer or less soft. It's more like I could differentiate them by touch, but I wouldn't necessarily be able to make that up by softness. I think it's more the structure of your stitches changes if you use 3 strands of a yarn versus 1 strand of a yarn. So that's it. Someone is asking if you need to rewind the portobello. No. I mean, again, if you like working from a ball, for instance, it comes in a little donut, but you can just work from the skein, straight from the skein. There's no reason you don't need to worry about it. In my opinion, at least from my experience, it works up perfectly fine just from the skein. Kristen is saying if we can include Mega Ball in the next big live shopping. I will take that under advisement. I will put it on the list. We do have one more yarn in this little final, not final, but second to last category, and that is our Friends wool. Someone asked earlier about the whole Friends thing, so this is another Friends yarn. Friends wool is made from 100% wool, so this is great for all of you wool lovers out there. I know it's the middle of summer and it is slowly getting extremely hot in this basement, especially because the lights are on and we're in a basement. But this yarn is I would say, year-round winner. It's made from 100% wool, like I said. It is a very nice kind of medium thickness, so perfect for those really, really cozy projects that you may want to make, but also great for anything you want to make that is felted, which is always why I like to include it year-round, because I think felted stuff just can be used for so many different things. You get 100 meters on one skein, which is 109 yards, and the recommended hook or needle size is a 4, 4.5 to a 5. So again, kind of nice medium weight, nice to work up for those of you who, like me, prefer to start on a slightly lower. Dagmar is saying, I've wanted to ask, are more people missing their favorites lists on their websites? I think that might be a feature that is currently missing. I know there's a list of features that our product department or our digital product department are very much aware of need to be fixed. I think that might be one of them. And Joanne is saying we're currently having a heat wave in the UK. It's not insanely hot here, but it is warm. It is summer, and then adding to that we're in the basement.
It's like 22 degrees most days. Yeah,
but yesterday evening I was going home and it felt really warm. I was overdressed. I was sweating a lot. So yeah. 49 degrees Celsius, says Cynthia. Where are you?
The sun?
I was like, are you at the core of the earth? I know that's, but wow. Wow. That is a lot. I don't think, that would be you walk outside, you take a breath and your lungs catch on fire. I don't know. I think the highest temperature I've ever experienced has probably been in the low 40s, like low 40s Celsius or mid 40s Celsius.
Same.
Like I've been I was like Outback Australia was definitely one of the hottest places I've been, but it wasn't that bad when I was there. Huh. Cynthia, our thoughts are very much with you. That sounds horrible, if I'm being honest. 27 degrees in Belgium. I mean, I'm already going to complain at 27 degrees. I like anything above 24 degrees and I start complaining that I'm too hot. Speaking of being too hot, Matt is now showing you loads of projects that are all made with 100% wool yarn. But if you show the pan holder, for instance, there are projects here that you can essentially use year round. So Sonia made this felted pan handle. You're still going to need to touch hot pans in the summer. And a felted pan handle is going to make that a little bit easier. You could also use this to make pot holders. You could use it to make like a trivet, and you can felt those all up and then have a really nice felted project. You could make cute bags out of this. You could make little baskets. And of course, you could just, wear your wool all year round, depending on where you are in the world. Everyone are now posting the temperatures, and I'm just... Jax is saying, does Cynthia live inside an active volcano? 32 degrees in Orlando, Florida. Florida heat is no joke because it's so humid, because the air is so humid there, so that's no joke. But at least, like, if you're close to the ocean, you can go cool off, I guess. But then there's sharks. Who knows? Christina saying, I'm laughing at the hot above 27 degrees thing when you're from Greece. I mean, I've also, like, Germany gets quite hot summer, or like it gets some hot summer days. It's just that I personally, I don't like being sweaty. I'd rather always be 2 degrees too cold. I don't mind being cold. I'm fine being cold, actually. Like, I don't mind being a little bit too cold. I hate being too hot. That's just, oh, no. No. Alrighty, so Friends Wool is the last yarn in this category, and like I said, a very versatile yarn. If you're kind of like, well, it's the middle of summer, I don't want to do a wool project, 100% hear ya, but consider that you can make cool felted projects year round, really. It's 40% off with our code HAPPY40, which you can just apply at checkout. Matt, where are you going? Matt has just walked out of the studio. Kelly's saying it's going to get a good bit hotter. Yes, it will. I mean, it will here as well. 31, and I consider that a lovely day. Yeah, I don't mind being cold. I'll be cold. That's fine. I can't do too hot. Just no. Like, I'm already standing here in the lights, and I'm like, ugh, this is a lot. 24 Celsius in the UK. See, that sounds perfectly pleasant. It does not need to get more than that. In fact, I don't mind having to wear like a jacket or long sleeves. Like, I mean, I'm wearing like a blouse today and jeans, and that's fine. So, Sharon is saying you're abandoning me. Yes, you are. Oh, that's where you went. I was like, because you just walked out right as I was like, oh, let's do the next giveaway. And then Matt just...
Oh, but the giveaway is already done.
Oh, it is, because it's... Oh, I thought we were doing chat next. I should read my own script, shouldn't I? So, Matt, come back. Matt, come back. Matt is back. He has just gotten us some swatches, so I can show you some swatches from of our next yarn. We had Friends Wool, which is 40% off with our code HAPPY40, and that was the last one in that section, and that means it's time for another giveaway. And this giveaway winner was drawn from all the lovely people, all of you, who gave us a thumbs up or a little heart for this video. So thank you for liking this video. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to us that you're here with us every week, and that you are so supportive, even if the tech is a little bit all over the place at the moment. We are working on getting that running super smoothly again. It is just going to be a bit of a learning curve, and it's just going to be a little while until all features become available, much like on our website, where some features are currently missing, but I know our digital product team are on it, trying to set all of that up. And our winner, picked from everyone who gave us a like, is Colleen Connolly. Cannoli. I'm going to assume that it might be Cannoli. Colleen Cannoli.
Colleen Connolly. Maybe? I don't know.
But it's like a Connolly, so it's not Connelly, it's Connolly.
I have no idea how to say it, honestly.
Colleen.
But email
Connolly. 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 Either way, Connole is how that surname is spelled. Dear Colleen, congratulations. I'm also just now thinking, like, it's almost like her names are almost like anagrams of each other. Like, it's the same letters, just different distribution, kind of. Congratulations, Colleen. You are our third winner of the night. You will receive a gift card with $25 or equivalent in your currency. Please email us at live@hobbii.com for that giveaway. Air conditioning is universal in most southern US households, so a heat isn't something most of us worry about. That is true, but I really struggled when I was there. I went to an American high school for a year in my teens, and I really struggled because our school was essentially like being inside of a refrigerator, but then of course the second you walked outside you were in the Florida heat. So it was very much that I had to sort of walk into the building wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, and the second I was through the door I had to put on a hoodie. And so I felt like it was really weird going out after school, walking outside and instantly being like, no, taking off all the layers. Yeah, it was interesting. And then there comes the German thing where I still kind of in my head think that, which is such a German thing. Like, Germans will tell you that if you have the AC running too long, you'll get sick from it. Like, it'll make you sick. And I guess there's something to it for like the dry air making it, like, you know, because Germans, we love to aerate our rooms. We just we like invented opening windows basically. All right, so congrats to our winner, and let's move on before I get stuck talking about heat for the rest of the show to our last three yarns. One of them will be the mystery yarn that people are wondering about as well. It's not that big of a mystery. The first one I'm going to talk to you about, though, is Cascata, which we have here. And it is the yarn that, when you work it up, looks like this. And when you are a child stuck inside of an adult's body, then it looks like this. Oh my god, I was way too slow. I could see myself going down. Okay, yep. I'll do one more. Louisa's here, Louisa's here, Louisa's here.
Where's Louisa?
Where has she gone?
Where is she?
Definitely not under the table. I will show it to you on the close-up cam. So this is what Cascata looks like when it is worked up. As you can see, Similar to tea time, but a little bit different. You also get these lovely, gentle, short stripes with a very lovely change. The color change is a little bit less mottled, just because of the way the yarn is made and dyed, and the colors are obviously also their own. Cascata comes from the Italian word for waterfall, and this yarn is a waterfall of color. We do also have some crocheted swatches, which I think is really cool to show, like on a circular pattern, how this yarn works up. To give you some ideas. As I said before, it is similar in structure to Portobello in the sense that you here again have a tube that has fibers blown into it. In this case, again, a cotton tube and acrylic fibers. Here, unlike with the Portobello, the yarn is slightly thicker and the colors change throughout. It is a color change that occurs that gives you these. You get 400 meters on one of these, or as we like to say, 1,312 feet.
4 inches.
Which is, and 4 inches. Thanks. Matt is like the inch police. He's like, and don't forget the 4 inches. Nope. It is 437 yards. 437 yards on a cascata. The recommended hook or needle size is a 5 to 6 millimeter, and we do recommend that if you're going to machine wash this, put it on a delicate cycle, so low spin at low to medium temperature. It is a... how does cascata compare to tea time? Excellent question. Hand me a tea time. So like I said, one is just the way the color changes occur. So I have a tea time here for reference. You will see that it's a lot more the colors twisting into each other and kind of modeled into each other. Whereas on a cascata, you get the colors more separate from each other, and then just when they change, they kind of slightly blend. So the blend is a little bit like longer on the tea time, I would say. Other than that, you do get the same kind of stripy overall appearance with a soft change. Tea time does have that more rustic appearance with the variation in thickness from thicker bits to thinner bits, from more loosely spun to more tightly spun. Cascata has a more even structure throughout, and then cascata obviously has it's different material. It's a cotton and acrylic blend, whereas here you have a pure acrylic. And on a cascata, what's actually really cool is as you touch it, it is very, very, very soft on the surface. And that's, again, these acrylic fibers sticking out of the tube just give it that really, really nice and sort of soft surface that is just really strokeable. So I would say that cascata is one of the yarns that kind of surprised me a little bit. In comparison to Portobello, it is much softer on the surface. Portobello, like I said, has that slightly more... kind of rough and rustic feel to it, and cascata is a softer variation of that. It is great for fun little magic tricks. I should not do that because I'm going to get so warm within seconds, and then when I get warm I get irritated, and then, you know, this whole stream turns into a tragedy. That is genuinely one of the things, like if I get too hot I just get really whiny, and I hope that's not gonna happen. Looks like Fruit Loops, someone says. And Tiffany says cascata has the more obvious changes. Exactly. So the sort of the blend is a little bit more just at the point of color change, and therefore you get a more clear division between the colors, whereas with tea time you get a bit more of a softer blend overall. Brandy is saying a lot of people are not fans of the change in the yarn sizes, but it actually helps me. I would hope that maybe we could find a way to include both, just to make it as easy as possible for everyone to know exactly what kind of yarn they're looking at. From a customer service perspective, I've gotten very used to actually recommending that people look at the gauge of the pattern they're trying to do, and then look at the gauge of the yarn they're trying to use, just to get an approximate of if that yarn could be suitable. But then gauge also depends on the exact stitches, etc. So there is a whole like world of classifying yarns and figuring out how to best find the yarn that you are looking for. Let's do another look at the skein, look at the swatch. This is now color number 7. Look at the skein, look at the swatch. Look at the skein, look at the swatch. So we do have swatch pictures on the website to help you see what the colors will look like when worked up, to give you a clearer idea of the lovely colors. This was Cascata, which you could use for anything from a blanket to clothing to accessories to mittens. It has a very nice soft surface. It is a slightly chunkier or like slightly thicker yarn weight, so any garment you make with it is going to be well, thicker and kind of more structured garment. And it is really fun for those of you who, again, love these kind of very funky, arty color changes that are a little bit more blended and all over the place, and that the ones who kind of like a little bit of surprise in their skein, to make really fun and colorful projects with. So this was Cascata, which is 40% off with our code HAPPY40 if you apply that at checkout. Valid for the next 22-ish hours, so until tomorrow at the time that the stream started, and valid on the base price of the yarn. So it overrides the bulk discount should it apply based on how many skeins you're ordering. Cynthia, that is not what I said, and I will not read your comment out loud, because then I would be saying it, and I don't want to say it. More and more people are like, I said look at the swatch. The swatch. Yes, that is what I said.
Have you ever seen like the ending of a Danish movie, and it ends with telling you that
it's the same as the Swedish.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I have actually like used that for comedic effect on videos that I've made.
Nice.
Like, when I've sent people videos, I've just ended it with like the Swedish word for end.
Yes.
I'm gonna like if you take a train in Sweden, you know where it's going to take you. It's going to take you to the slutdestination.
Yes. Yeah.
I've taken so many pictures of that and sent it to friends and family. I'm like, look where I'm going. You know. It is fun with languages and fun with Louisa and Matthias. Let's move on to our final yarns. Look at the sloth. Who looks at a sloth? Oh man, I missed you. I missed you, everyone. It is so nice to be back. And after next week's stint on vacation, I will actually be back for a few weeks before I go again in August. I'm very sorry. I've really broken up all of my days off throughout the summer. So I'm going and coming and going and coming and working remotely. But if I work remotely, I obviously can't host. So we'll work something out. You will see me again, I promise. I missed you too much to stay away. So final yarns of the night is our lovely Baby Snuggle Solid and Baby Snuggle Print. We didn't have a graphic for the Baby Snuggle Print and a code for it, but you can just find it on the website. It is linked under the Baby Snuggle. So if you go to the Baby Snuggle, you can type BS1 in the chat to get a link to that. And then Sophie is saying, I live in Sweden and I have never thought of that at the end. Well, you will now. It is especially funny because they use it for like children's movies as well. So like Finding Nemo will end and it fades out, and then the Swedish word for end just appears on screen, which is just, it's a really fun kind of juxtaposition. It's, yeah, adult humor. Anyway, Baby Snuggle. For babies and adults. And those who are somewhere in between. Can't get over the sloths and the other words. I
mean, I was in Middelfart not so long ago.
Yeah, there is a Danish city called Middelfart.
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 Middelfart. It's called Middelfart. Literally, that is the name of the city. I have chuckled on the train going past it or seeing it.
And fart in Danish means speed.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean what you think it means, at least not for us.
But
you have some Baby Snuggle.
Yes, I have some Baby Snuggle for you. Now people are Googling, what is the Swedish word for end? What does it say? Like, what is a Swedish train? What is the like final destination of a Swedish train called? So.
Well, the good thing in Danish is we actually use endestation.
Yeah, in
which
Swedish,
is a different word
they
for
do
butt,
not.
actually.
Yeah, like...
Inne.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you want an Austrian city that is worse, could you possibly mean fucking? Which, this is not a joke. So it's an Austrian city which is called Fucking. I'm not pronouncing it. I'm deliberately just pronouncing it German. But they do sell a beer, which is a light beer, which is then called Hell. So they sell a beer that is called Fucking Hell. I don't know if they still do, because there was a whole thing where they genuinely thought about like changing the town name and changing the brewery name and stuff to avoid that. But
that's very funny.
Sophie nicely just put the translation in the chat for those of you who are curious why we are giggling about the fact that about the now. Swedish and Danish word for end or ending or yeah. Can I interest you in some chenille yarns? As the hour winds down, as this show comes to an end, we have Baby Snuggle Solid and Baby Snuggle Print. I only have the solid one in the studio. We couldn't find the print, but both are 40% off with our code HAPPY40. And both are made from 100% super, super soft, super, super lovely chenille yarn made from 100% polyester. So chenille yarns have a very unique structure. You have a nice little thin inner, there we are, there's the camera, you can see it here, inner thread, and that is essentially kind of twisted around these fibers sticking out, so you get this kind of floofy, velvety texture. You can kind of, especially at the ends, pull them out a little bit, which exposes the inner thread, and they will fluff quite a little bit as you work with them, but they do also, once they are worked up, stay really, really nicely together. The friction in between the fibers also kind of holds them in as you've worked this up. And you get this lovely, soft, velvety texture. Matthias, have I ever told you that the word chenille for the yarn comes from the French word for caterpillar?
Oh my god, no.
He's a liar.
It does?
I mention this fact all the time. We used it on one of the very early quiz times. Speaking of quiz time, join Matt on Thursday for that. You can type quiz 1 in the chat if you want a link.
We have someone asking you about the
Shiloh's asking, I've been trying to find a favorite out of the chenille yarns. What is my opinion on, or your opinion also, chat, feel free to share, of Baby Snuggle compared to Toucan or Happy Chunky. So
Or Honey Bunny.
Or Honey Bunny, which is the other one we have. So I am very partial to Toucan personally. I would say out of all of our chenille yarns, Baby Snuggle and Honey Bunny are the most alike. They're essentially they're not the same yarn, but they're very similar to each other. They both have a very sort of light fluffiness to them. They're very, very, very soft to the touch, very strokeable, you do not want to stop touching them once you start. Toucan has, oh yeah, Matt has some Honey Bunny for me as well, so you can see they're very, thank you, very similar to each other. Toucan has, in my opinion, a slightly higher fiber density, and therefore it feels a little less soft and a little sturdier, and I personally really like that. So out of all the chenille yarns, I've worked with all of them now, I have found Toucan to be my personal favorite. But that's, again, it's very subjective. It's very much down to what you like. I find Baby Snuggle and Honey Bunny just a little fluffier and softer, but I've just kind of found that I really like the kind of touch and feel of Toucan personally. You could also combine Toucan with the other two. It does show, in my opinion, a little bit of a difference. Just the surface of the yarn is just a little bit different. It looks a little bit denser. It looks a little bit less floofy. It looks a little bit kind of duller because of that. But yeah, you can kind of combine and play around with all of them together as well. For colors, I am very partial to the Baby Snuggle color palette, and there are some colors in Toucan that I really like. But Honey Bunny is also great. It's, at the end of the day, they're all kind of great yarns, and then it comes down to personal preference. For me personally, Toucan has my #1 spot. Winnie is saying, I use Baby Snuggle and Honey Bunny interchangeably. Yes. I would say they are. I don't think if you blindfold me, I don't think I can tell these two apart by touch. I can't. Like, I can tell you right now that I can't. Toucan, I could probably feel a slight difference of. Matt is now showing you the Baby Snuggle color palette that we have. Again, I'm very partial to the greens. I'm very partial to this mustard color. So there are a few colors there that I just really like. Jillian is saying we're ending this live with a strokeable yarn. Yes, we are. It is truly, I've told this story many times, but I'll just tell it again. For those of you who haven't heard it yet, when I first started working at Hobbii, we were still in a different office than we are now. And there was a sofa right next to our fridge and coffee machine. So whenever I would go to get a drink, a cup of tea or a soda, I would pass that sofa, and it is where our marketing department at the time had put a lot of the items, a lot of the swatches, but especially a lot of the projects done by themselves or by testers that we also used for content. And there was a pillow and a blanket made out of baby Snuggle. And I would literally go to make my tea and I would put the cup under, I would press the button for the hot water to run, and I would just walk 3 steps backwards and I would grab the pillow and just stroke it for a minute while the water ran. And then when it would go, I would put the pillow back and get my cup and walk back to my desk. This was like when I first started, and I hadn't really, I knew the basics of knitting. I hadn't gotten into crochet yet. I hadn't worked with it yet. And I actually kind of, at the time, committed. I was like, I need to make things with this yarn. This is fantastic. This is phenomenal. And I will say that as a total beginner, I don't think chenille is the easiest yarn to start with. It's not impossible. Has some benefits. It's a nice yarn weight or nice thickness. It's a bulky weight. You're looking at sort of anywhere between a 6 or between a 5 and 10 millimeter hook or needle, depending on the exact result that you want. Do you want it to be very loose and flowy, or do you want it really structured for an amigurumi? So it's not the worst to start on, but just due to the fluffiness of it, you can imagine that your stitches will become a little bit harder to spot, because you always want to make sure that you go through, obviously, the main thread of it, which is kind of hidden behind all this fluff. So there can be some challenges when working with it. Definitely work in really good lighting, just so you see what you're doing, and then it's a matter of just practice. But yeah, this is Jillian is saying, well, this live took a turn. Yes, it did. But are we really surprised? We do have some patterns from what you can make with it. And of course, Stephen is no longer here, but his nemesis has never gone anywhere. Snugglefant is originally a pattern that is written for the Baby Snuggle print. So here is Snugglefant in his original glory. I don't actually know where Snugglefant is right now. Probably just waiting in case Stephen ever comes back.
In the shadows.
Just waiting in the shadow. I just remember that for a few weeks in the fall, I don't even remember why, Stephen and I were joking around, and as a joke, I just used a rubber band to tie a knife to Snugglefant's hand, and it was just on the shelf with a knife for a while. Anyway, that's not why Stephen left, I promise. Imagine if that had been, he was like, I don't want a hostile work environment. No, I love working with him. So this is another cute pattern that we have for this yarn, or any of our other chenille yarns, but this is the Soft Goose toy, which is a knitted plushie in the shape of a cute little sleepy goose, and I just think it is so adorable. We also have that somewhere, but not available right now due to moving the studio. But those are just some examples of what you can make with our beautiful Baby Snuggle Solid and Baby Snuggle Print. Both of those yarns are 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40, which you can use for the next 22 hours to apply at our website. And it should apply for everyone watching, so Norway as well. And with that, we're at the end of the stream, which means that we have one final giveaway. And for this one, Matt actually came up with a guessing question. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, because maybe you haven't watched our quizzes, and we don't do these as consistently, anymore. So if you're new, basically I'm going to ask you a guessing question. You have to answer with your best guess in numbers. No letters, no nothing, just type the numbers. So if you think the answer is 100, just type 100 and nothing else. And the closest guess done in the quickest time wins. It essentially kind of combines a combination of speed and accuracy. And so this is for all of you who like meters to measure your yarns, because how many meters combined does our yarn selection add up to? So of the 12 yarns that we had today, if you take one skein of each and you add up the yardage in meters, how many meters do you get?
I took the bags as one whole bag.
And Matt took the color bags to mean
product.
one bag.
Yeah.
So not just one skein, but one bag of the 8/4 and 8/8 cotton.
Yeah, one of each of the 12
And so
products.
while you are guessing, I'm actually just going to run through the products that we had today, because we started with our big cakes. We had tea time. You can type TT1 in the chat if you want a direct link to that, because we don't have a landing page today. We also had, where's the Sultan? It's fine. We don't have to do them in order, I don't think.
Exactly. Yeah.
We also had the 10 packs of the Friends Cotton Color Pack FCP84 and the 8/8 Color Pack FCP88. We had our Sultan Deluxe. We had our Unicorn Solid. We had our Portobello. We had our beautiful Mohair Delight. We had our beautiful Friends Wool. We also had gorgeous, gorgeous Amigo. And we, of course, had Cascata. And what yarn did we end on? That's right, it was Baby Snuggle and Baby Snuggle Print. So both of those yarns are on sale with our code HAPPY40 for the next 22 hours. So until tomorrow at the time that we started this show, you can grab these at 40% off the base price. So it replaces the bulk discount if that should apply to your order. It just overrides it, and then you get 40% off instead of the 30, which would have been the bulk discount. It cannot be combined with any other codes, sadly, and you can just... Do you mean each yarns, all colors? No, we just mean one skein of each yarn. So it's just the plain yardage per yarn /
each product.
For the color pack, we mean 10 skeins, because that's how much is in a color pack. And the answer is, this all adds up to 5,515. That's a nice, like, 5515. 5,515 meters of yarn that we had in the selection for you today. And let's see who our closest guesser is. And it seems to be Jody, who guessed 5,550 and did so very, very quickly as well. So we've got Jody, who is our lucky winner today. Congrats, Jody. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Please email us live@hobbii.com to get your gift card. And congrats to all the other guessers. Great guessing. And yeah, just to reiterate, the system takes into consideration a combination of accuracy and speed. So if you answer super, super quickly and you're relatively close, you have a high chance of winning. Even though if at the very, very end, someone who maybe took the time to Google, I mean, in this case, you couldn't Google the answer, but took the time to, like, do all the work, then, yeah, it will kind of weigh that against each other. Just FYI. And Jacqueline is saying, well, we wouldn't know because on the website it's in feet. Yes, it is, which we didn't really realize before we started this.
They also do have meters.
It is also in meters,
yes.
But still. Is this Jody, the pattern designer? Yes. I mean, I assume it is. I assume that it is Jody, who also has a few lovely patterns on our website and, in fact, a lot of gorgeous projects in our user gallery, who has been a regular for quite a while. Who may be an art teacher? I may be confusing you with someone else. If I am Jody, I'm sorry. If not, great memory. Basically, either I'm wrong or I'm right. With that, I am going to say thank you so very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed today's selection. Do remember, code HAPPY40 is valid for 22 more hours on this selection. If you've typed HAPPY40 in the chat, you will receive a message that just lists the yarns. Jody is saying yes. I don't know if it's for the art teacher part or the pattern designer part, but either way, it's great to have you with us. Have a lovely rest of your day, evening, night. I won't be here next week. Christina will be here next week, and then I'll see you in July. Was an art teacher, says Jody. That now made my night that I still remembered that little tidbit from probably 6 months ago. I think it was during the back to school live that we did where that came up. Anyway, everyone, take care. See you very soon. And thanks for joining. Bye.